To answer this question, I'm off to South America, to the desert that was once home to a mysterious civilization called the Nazca, a people who 1,200 years ago disappeared from history. I'm here in southern Peru in the remote Nazca Desert, and this is a Nazca line that depicts a giant whale. From here, it might not look like much, because to really see the Nazca lines, you need a completely different perspective. From on high, you can see the Nazca lines are massive geoglyphs, the largest ever made. But why are they here, in the middle of a vast and empty desert? And it's not that the Nazca lines are hard to see from the ground, they're virtually invisible. It was only when airplane pilots started flying over this part of Peru that anyone had a clue that they existed. From up here, I can see why those first pilots were so shocked by what they discovered. The lines cover more than 125 square miles and form over 1,000 geometric shapes. Enormous rectangles, trapezoids, hundreds of yards wide and thousands of yards long. Then there are razor-straight lines, some stretching as far as 9 miles. Perhaps the most incredible are the biomorphs, over 50 massive drawings of birds, animals, and even humans. Ever since they were first spotted 80 years ago, researchers have tried to figure out who made the lines and why. There have been a lot of theories, but few facts. Getting straight answers about the Nazca lines is going to be a challenge. The best place to start, though, is with one central mystery that has been solved. How were the lines made? It turns out it's not that hard. Without using modern tools, local artist Julio Cortez and I are drawing one of the most famous, the tail of the Nazca monkey. So the way that we're making this line with Julio is using some pretty simple tools. This big paddle, these pegs in the middle, and a bit of string, which gives the right distance that we need to create the spiral. For years, no one could figure out how to create a drawing this massive and this precise without being able to see the entire shape. Wow. But in the 1980s, a group of researchers showed how it could be done, and it didn't just work for spirals. With simple survey methods like transit lines and plumb bobs, the Nazca were able to lay out sharp angles and sophisticated patterns. Once they had the design, it was just a matter of clearing away a layer of stones.
Blanco.
Blanco.
Blanco, silicato, sílice.
He's just explaining how this piece of art actually works, and it's in the contrast. It's really that simple, because you've got this black surface which is oxidized iron fragments, volcanic rock, and when you brush it away you get this beautiful light shade of dust. It's just white almost, and it's that contrast that creates these pictures, these lines, these biomorphs. Stunning. One of the great mysteries is how these delicate lines have managed to survive more or less intact. And it's because of the climate here. There's only 15 minutes of rain every year. And the wind is so little here that it doesn't blow the dust onto these lines to cover them up. And finally, there just hasn't been much human activity on these lines. There's been no real reason for people to come up here once the Nazcans left. So they've managed to survive. We're almost done here, so I'm going to put my shoes on and try and get up to some elevation and get a sense of what we've created here. Right, we should be high enough now to be able to see what we've created. Julio! It's beautiful. That is the latest Nazca line. Drawing the monkey's tail wasn't that hard, but annoyingly it didn't shed any new light on why the Nazca drew it in the first place, or even if they did.
Just here to test out Maria Riker's theory that some of the constellations align perfectly with the Nazca biomorphs. And I've got this pretty cool program that's linked into my satellite system here. So if I program in my longitude and latitude, it'll give me an exact fix of the sky above. So here we are. What I'm looking for, first of all, is Orion, because Maria Riker believed that Orion mapped perfectly to the Nazca Spider. So here is Orion's belt. Let's zoom in on that. There we go. And what we want to do is overlay the spider to see if there's a fix. No. Only a couple of the lines correspond to a couple of the stars, and sorry, but that's not conclusive. Right, let's try another one. So let's look for Ursa Major, and within that we're looking for the Big Dipper. There it is. Zoom in on the Big Dipper, and that's meant to correspond to the monkey. So let's overlay the monkey onto the Big Dipper. And again, it doesn't correspond. But a number of astronomers have done a far more detailed analysis than I'm doing here, and they have proved that Maria Riker's theory that the constellations map onto the shapes on the desert floor just doesn't add up. A group of geologists tested that out, and although certain Nazca lines did point to underground streams, there was no clear evidence that even the majority of lines marked sources of groundwater.